I am Dahlia Legault. I play Francine on The Walkin Dead, and you are watching the Dave and Creech Show.
This is the Dave and Creech Show, the only podcast where podcaster CJ Creech and actor Dave Sheridan come together to talk all things entertainment with your favorite entertainers. Want to ask our guests a question? Tweet them to @DaveSheridan or @CJCNOV88, and they may be asked to our guests live on the show. We do have to ask you stay seated during the podcast because this ride may get a little bit hilarious. Now here's your hosts, Dave and Creech.
Hey guys, welcome to the Dave and Creech Show. This is episode 48, and I am once again joined by Dave Sheridan.
Hello, world.
We've got a pretty great and random conversation-filled podcast for you today.
When is it not random filled?
Yeah, you kind of got a point there. It is almost every week it's random filled, but I feel like this week is a little more random than normal.
We want it to be random in a weird way, in the sense of topics, flowing back and forth, circling back to that topic. You know, I don't know. Personally, I've been living with that type of conversation my whole life, so maybe that's just me. I would love, I guess I got to stop talking at some point and just join two people having a conversation and see how they have a conversation, because maybe my conversations are just generally way too random, you know?
Well, I think that's probably what best sets us apart, so maybe you should not do that.
Okay. Still, I want to know how the other world lives. I do. I want to know how the other world lives. And they're always 5 steps ahead. The people that control the media, which is the media themselves. So, and that's the part where I'm at right now. I'm tired of these brainwashed people believing all this crap they're seeing in the news of late. And then they try to get one up in front of it by calling it fake news when it's the news calling themselves fake news.
It's alternative facts. I thought, and usually how it is, usually the worst of the media and everything is usually during the presidential election. And then, it subsides. But it hasn't given up yet. It's just mind-numbing at this point.
The backlash is not going to be good for these outlets. But it's sugar, man. It's heroin. It's ratings. So when they just hit on gold through this last election year that they've never seen before, you know what I'm saying? They just was like, wow, this is, these news channels and news outlets and all this crap that's like 24/7, they're always looking for something to cover until the next thing. You know how, it's like, name something, I don't know, let's just say the Orlando shooting thing, right? And it's just cover it. And they will walk away from that and they're on to the next thing so quick because they were already milking something for so long until they find the next thing, and then it's the next thing. So when they got on this whole thing, and really Trump handed it to them, but the election with Hillary and Bernie and everybody was so electrifying for ratings that it's like a girlfriend that you can't walk away from. So they really are not going to be able to leave this spectacle until something else comes along. It's usually like a natural disaster, like when that dam was about to burst in California. Everybody was in that business was probably hoping that it would. They don't wish people to be, they don't want 100,000 people to die. They don't want anyone to die, and that's why they were clearing people out anyway, but that would have given them that sort of exit to get out of it, to focus on the next big thing. Because it's usually something, they don't want two human-caused problems to be, hey, I'm covering the Orlando shooting, Orlando shooting, Orlando shooting. Now I'm covering the Paris bombing. They don't want that. It usually goes to like Orlando shooting, Orlando shooting, Orlando shooting. Oh my God. Hurricane Sally, whatever the hurricane, you know what I mean? They usually can figure out a natural disaster. Those things are really happening all around us all the time that they could just say, all right, let's go to that now, you know, and then we'll switch it. But they love their natural disasters. They love to get people out in the field wearing a rain slicker. You know, it's like they always send that guy out there. It's like, make sure that rain slicker's like halfway across your face and sloppy. We got to make it look real windy. Look for an area of, you know, carwood rolling down the street and some trees are down.
Exactly. And then, I don't remember seeing anything, but I don't think really much happened with the dam, did it?
No, well, you know, I mean, it still could, but I think they were able to get it under control. And I guarantee what you didn't see was the, you know, 150 news vans and all that, because they did do some news pieces on it, and they were all geared up for this thing to be like, this is going to be great. Just make sure there's cameras on this thing 24/7. We want to be the ones to catch that giant freaking thing tumbling and all the houses getting covered, and, you know, they probably had, and trust, because I worked in the news, you know, you knew that, right?
I don't, actually. I don't think I do.
I worked with Dan Rather at CBS News in 90, I 91 for that year, with Dan. And Dan would have me in his office every day. He'd cut a cigar open. He'd talk about covering Vietnam and when he was young and breaking into the business. And he would always like mentor me on, you know, the business of journalism and big news and stuff, right? And the best part was I had no interest in it, but it was just Dan Rather just spouting off to me every day, like, David, come to my office, sit down. And he would just like chat and chat and chat. And I'd be like, I would just zone out, be like, that's awesome, you know. But I have a gift. I have a gift for gab, but I also have a gift for listening. Now, most people wouldn't think I do because I talk so much, but I am good at like just letting people, you know, once I know they like to talk about themselves or whatever, you can just smile and go, yeah, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? At that point, I wasn't saying anything to Dan, but I was enjoying the little show that he was putting on, because he thought I wanted to be an anchor man. You know what I mean? He really thought I wanted to be somebody like him because there was no other reason for somebody to be working there as an entry-level PA. If they didn't, that's not what they wanted to do. That was the point of getting the job. So, but I was there when Operation Desert Storm, and they were rolling that out. And I thought I told you this. I helped design the logo for the Desert Storm, and which actually, okay, now it's all coming back to me. Logo. So the first thing was Operation Desert Shield. So the first logo was Desert Shield. We had to do this Desert Shield logo. You know, it had that one had like basically searchlights going and had this kind of metallic Desert Shield would come on the screen, and, you know, timpani drums and stuff. And then Desert Storm was two tanks and two jet fighters come at the screen, and then the jet fighters would move up and sort of dissolve the screen. And Operation Desert Storm, a little bit more dramatic music. And honestly, it was the first time I remember wars having logos, you know, as if they were like a movie. It was pretty funny. Well, we had a good time with that. Worked in paint. I worked with the company New Tech that had light wave and paint and stuff like that. And so I worked in the art department there.
Never knew that. Learning something new, even 48 episodes in. Look at that.
Yeah, that was how I got to Saturday Night Live. It was really by luck, because I already wanted to go and do that kind of stuff. That's really what that's what I do. I'm a comedian, comedic actor, as we like to say, since I don't really do stand-up. But the guy Steve, that was head of the art department at CBS News. At that time, the news artists, they belonged to the WGA. That was their union. And Herb Sargent, who was, ironically, the head of Weekend, he created the Weekend Update News for Saturday Night Live, but he's one of the original writers, producers of Saturday Night Live from like 1975. Like I said, 1990 at this point. So he was old. I don't want to call people old, but he was old. But he was the secretary of the Writers Guild East. And so Steve found out that I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live and work at Saturday Night Live, and then he said, "Oh man, I'm really good friends with Herb Sargent," who I was like right away, like, "What? Really? Are you?" You know, I knew exactly who everybody was on that show, especially that at that point in 1990. You know, there was a lot of cast members, and there certainly were a lot of writers, but there was also a lot of writers and producers that were there from the very beginning. The head writer and Herb and Signorelli and who's the guy who did the shorts? He was crazy. You remember the guy? What was his name? They used to do the short films on Saturday Night Live. He was still there too. I'm just drawing blank on his name.
I don't know. I actually didn't start watching Saturday Night Live till like late 90s.
Yeah. Oh, right, because you're young then.
Yeah. I was in 90, 91. I was 3, 4. So I was watching like Power Rangers.
See,
Like
I don't think I watched Saturday Night Live since 1993, to be quite honest. This is when I left the show. So that's why I haven't watched it really. It was like once that ship sailed, I was like, I'm not going back.
Yeah,
and then at that point, I was like mid-20s, and just when you're in your 20s now, like there just comes that period of you're going to have to drink at bars every night. You're getting girls. You're too busy. The last thing you're doing is you're not home at 11:30 on a Saturday when you're in your 20s, basically. So at least I wasn't. And actually, at that point, that's when I didn't have a TV, because I was living on a mattress in some tiny little apartment. We barely had electricity to move in.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got in. I don't even then and now I don't watch SNL religiously. I mean, usually I'll watch it depending on who's the guest host. If it's somebody that I really want to see, like obviously anytime The Rock did it, I'd watch. Or when Dave Chappelle was on recently, I watched it. But I'm not one of those that watches it every week.
Right.
But I will say, in the early '90s, they had, obviously looking back now on most of the cast that was there wound up going to do bigger and better things. Whereas now it's like usually one or two members out of the cast may do something big and they'll eventually move on. Like pretty much everybody in the early 90s went on to huge success.
Yeah, I mean, that was mainly Mike Myers was the author of that, because it was Wayne's World. Because he was on the show, and that was a sketch on the show, and while he was on the show, made a super huge successful movie, and that just lit a fire with Warren. You know what I mean? Like, once he saw that, then it was like, okay, the Al Sharpton had Stuart Smalley, and you had Adam Sandler and Chris. They all went on, it was movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when DVDs were bigger, and actually DVDs were probably just starting to come out right around then on a larger scale.
Yeah, they were probably, Laserdisc around that time? Before the DVD came out?
VHS. Laserdiscs were like an in-betweener that just never caught on, because they were side records, you know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of like the HD DVD with the whole Blu-ray thing.
Right. Do they still have HD DVD? Or did that not?
No, like in the beginning, it was HD DVD carried certain like companies' movies, and then Blu-ray carried the others. Okay. But then, Blu-ray eventually went over the format wars, and they went with everybody went with Blu-ray, and then HD DVD just kind of died.
I got it. Like, I think Sony controlled Bluray maybe, and Toshiba controlled HD DVDs or whatever. Or, you know, some companies sided with that, and then some studios signed deals with them. Sort of like Betamax and VHS. That was like at the turn of the 80s, you know, 79, you know, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, whatever, where, you know, half the people bought Betamaxes and bought a complete library of Betamax movies, and then other people were going to VHS, and then VHS won, and Betamax just turned into a kind of like funny joke, you know. So,
Exactly.
And Betamax was Sony, so VHS was, you know, probably Panasonic and other companies like that. So that's kind of funny that Sony eventually decided to win the war.
Exactly. They avenged their loss.
So you went to Days of the Dead, which was February 3rd and 4th or something like that, right?
Yeah,
third
through the 5th, yeah.
I was in Los Angeles. I couldn't go. And so how was that convention? How was that con, Days of the Dead?
Oh, it was fantastic. Just like last year, I had a ball, and I really didn't get many interviews because most of the people that were there either couldn't do interviews because they were contracted with like wrestling companies and they weren't allowed to do out of character interviews.
Okay.
But I did get one with the Strip Club Massacre people, obviously, and Lexi interviewed one of the Strip Club Massacre actresses, and that was interview wise that's pretty much all we got. But they had the kids from Stranger Things there, and Doug Bradley, you know, the Devil's Rejects, a lot of people that you have interacted with, Tyler Maine and all them, and yeah, no, it was fantastic. You know, we wound up not going Friday, just because we were exhausted, because I did a commercial shoot before we, like right when we got into Atlanta in the morning. So I was already exhausted, but we went Saturday and Sunday and had a blast.
Yeah, and then, so what do you mean you did a commercial shoot? What'd you do?
There's a touring company that does Walking Dead locations, and
Yep.
in the place where Merle died, and those silos, that's an actual location. And I shot the commercial for them.
Nice.
And we had a bunch of extras, and brought my equipment down, shot it. Still editing it now, but it's coming out pretty good. I do like it, and you know they're promoting Dave and Creech down there.
Awesome, dude. And so, did you do camera too, or just direct it, or kind of direct and camera?
Direct and camera, yeah.
Right.
I did have like a second unit filming as well at the same time from a different angle.
What camera did you shoot on?
Oh, I shoot on this this Nikon, because I like shooting all my stuff digitally. I don't really like dealing with film cameras, because I like to basically.
Nobody does. Nobody shoots film.
It's quicker to with you know, I have a Nikon D5300, and as soon as I shoot it, I can start messing with the color grading and coding on it, and you know, just digitally change quite a bit of stuff. Because I mean, we shot with it sunlight, and I, you know, colored it to make it look like it was like overcast, kind of darkish, and so it looks really good. Because at the beginning of the commercial starts off like it looks like it's an episode of The Walking Dead, and so there's cosplayers and everything involved. And then you know, eventually, you know, you see Negan, and then you know the last shot you see is Negan swinging at the camera. And then it you know, you realize that it's just, you know, they're people on a tour, and then it goes into what the tour offers and everything that they offer there, and like, because they have more than just a tour. There's a store, and they do all sorts of like things there, which they also offered if we ever needed to do a fundraiser, they'd let us use the whole property for free, which is cool. But yeah, no, they do a lot of stuff there. So I had the owner read her line, so to speak. Shot a bunch of footage of people in the store, and then just gonna put all that together into maybe a 45-second ad.
So that's awesome. And what do they drive people around in the store?
Well, this tour is all centralized. There is another, it's literally it's probably, you can walk through most of it in about 5 to 10 minutes, but in this little section, they have the area where Merle died. It's also there's the location where Rick and the governor had their first meeting, and then there's this little there's a couple of buildings side by side where they've also shot stuff from Lawless and the Footloose remake, and that they're constantly using in films. Oprah just shot something there, so they've got all this other stuff that you can see as well, not Walking Dead related, and they've got stuff from the Fried Green Tomatoes, and they even used it for. I can't remember exactly what it was, what part of it, but there's a part right outside of their building that was used in the pilot for Dukes of Hazzard. So they've got everything there, and it's pretty awesome. And it's not even 10 minutes away from where they shoot Walking Dead now in Sonoy. So you can literally do that tour and then go over and see Alexandria. So it's phenomenal, and it gets a lot of foot traffic too, which also helps. With our stuff being there and people being able to see our name there, it helps continually spread out because they get tours from people from all around the world come to check out the locations.
Yeah, that part in The Walking Dead, last season, where they had the giant parade of horde of zombies.
Yeah.
I wonder if you're from out of town, and you're not even thinking The Walking Dead, but you get lost. It's supposed to be visiting a friend just somewhere in Atlanta, and you just they give you directions on, they email you directions, and you're an older couple, you don't have a smartphone, you still have a flip phone or whatever, and you're relying on the map, and you just take a couple wrong turns, and you just wander into that, 1,000 zombies coming at you, and you just fucking flipped out, what the fuck? Because you're so, those areas you're talking about they're not super metropolitan. It kind of falls off to pretty Sticksville, doesn't it?
Well, no, I mean some of them, yeah, but where they're at, there's quite a few houses nearby that actually people live in.
Right.
But some of them are really out there. They if you go to these locations, you'd be like, what the hell? How did they even find this place? It's there's nothing around.
Yeah, it would be funny for the husband to be maybe he's got a gun with him, or whatever he might have, a pickaxe in the back trunk, or a crowbar. So he's I'll save you, honey, and he's just beating the shit out of these bastards. And she's whoa, no. So you're at the Days of the Dead, and the kids from Stranger Things. Did you get to interview them?
I didn't. They were just extremely way too busy. But I did get to talk to them, and they were super nice. I was really surprised that all the fame has not gone to their head. But they are, they're all super cool. If they would have been there for more than one day, I think we definitely could have got an interview with them. But yeah, they were only there for Saturday, and their line was busy almost all day on Saturday.
Right. What are your thoughts about maybe when does Walking Dead start back up?
It just started back on Sunday.
Oh, that shows where I'm at, right?
Yep. You're behind an episode.
This past Sunday was the first one back.
Yep.
So I probably can watch it now online.
Yeah, it's a good one too.
When I watch them online, sometimes I have to wait a whole week, or sometimes at least 2 days or something before it shows up online. Maybe I'll I'm going to go in after this and check it out. Is it just 1 hour, or is it like a 2-hour episode?
Well, I think it'll probably wind up being close to an hour, because, usually they're 45 minutes long, but when it aired, it went till about 10:15, so it was about an hour 15 minutes, so probably close to, 53 minutes of actual show. On
Walkin Dead, when you watch it on cable, there's commercial breaks, right?
Oh, yeah, very annoyingly placed commercial breaks.
Yeah, I've never watched it on the actual TV channel, so when I find them online, it's always without commercial breaks. Whether that's, it used to be Netflix, but they're like buying a whole season, you know what I mean? So now I just Google around until I find one, or my brother's giving me something, an app, so I can say, cable app. They usually don't have commercials either.
All right, well, up next is our interview with Dahlia Legault from The Walking Dead. Now, she plays Francine. She's been on the show for a couple seasons now. I don't think we've seen her really much this season so far, other than maybe in the background a little bit. But she's a fantastic actress, and she's got a lot that she's got going on. So I interviewed her at Walker Stalker Atlanta back in October, and we are now airing her interview almost 5 months later. But it's a great interview, and I think you might learn a thing or two from it.
I can't wait.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Dave and Creech Show. I am here with Dahlia Legault, who also plays Francine in The Walking Dead. How are you doing today, Miss Dahlia?
I am very well. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. I guess we'll start off with a kind of easy question. How did you get your start into the acting industry?
Well, I actually started extremely young in theater. So I've been in theater for most of my life. I did all throughout high school. I got a degree in theater from the University of South Florida. And then just a few years ago, when I started to notice that my friends were getting on TV, I decided to try that excursion. And so, several steps, got an agent and such, and then all of a sudden, I got a part on The Walking Dead. So
that's always a good thing to be on the #1 show pretty much in the world.
Yeah, I would say I got very lucky. I think a certain I think I was just in the right place at the right time. Certain things started to happen just like one after another that just kind of all flung me into the right place. So
okay, and I see the photos here, and I definitely remember that scene with Abraham and the chaos. Now, I do have to ask, did they actually put you up in that forklift at some point?
Yeah. Actually, that's where the whole shoot day started. I was standing up in that backhoe for probably the first 3 hours of the shoot day. So in the episode you don't actually see me at all. The person falling out of the backhoe is a stunt double.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Yes, okay. So, you don't actually see her in that backhoe ever. But yeah, so I was standing in it, but they didn't show any of that, but the person falling out was my...
Now, you've been in quite a few episodes now. I definitely remember seeing you in the attack on Alexandria. Is there any favorite moment so far working on the show?
I would say that was a pretty cool experience, because that episode actually, I was not there for the original filming week of, was 609. I wasn't there for the original week. They ended up calling me back at the way end of the season and added me and a few other people into the scene. So, and it was actually shot in the studio in lighting this bright. So I'm just walking in one straight line, slashing at. They did have walkers there. There were walkers in place, but I was just slashing at nothing, just making ha, scream. It was really interesting. So yeah, that was kind of cool.
Well, that's actually pretty hilarious now. Yeah. And now whenever I watch that scene, that's all I'm going to think about.
Yeah.
So other than The Walking Dead, do you have anything else coming up that you'd like to promote?
I was actually, so this is already surpassed, but there was a show on the CW called Containment. It only lasted one season. They ended up canceling it after the first one, but it's now on Netflix. I play a character on there named Nancy, I believe in episode 9 of that. So, so unfortunately it did not continue, but if you want to see more Dahlia Legault in action, just check up on Containment on Netflix.
Not to mention, I'm sure if you write Netflix enough, they may renew it. They've been doing that a lot with shows.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they actually revive it and maybe bring Nancy back in season 2.
And if there's one show out there that you love, what would it be that you like if you could actually star on it?
I would love to be on probably Bloodline. That is another Netflix show. That's the next one I'm going to try to get.
So you love your Netflix stuff.
I love my Netflix stuff.
All right. Well, if they don't already, which they should, shame on them. Where can they follow you at on social media?
I would say Twitter and Instagram. I'm on there. Just my name, Dahlia Legault. I'm the only one on there. So, yeah, please look me up.
All right. Well, we do want to thank you for taking some time to interview us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of this crazy, crazy weekend here at Walker Stalker Con.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
I did learn a thing or two. Thing 1 and thing 2.
Exactly. See? I called it.
The Dr. Stu's tutorial inside that interview. That's pretty awesome. So, you went down, you're hanging out, strip club massacre, the cast, the director, people are down there, right?
Yes.
And you interview, you chat with them. And then, were they selling the DVD already? Or you just got a sort of special, like a burned copy, or you got the official packaged copy with like a barcode and a wrap?
I got kind of like a special copy of it. Basically, they had the DVDs there for those who had donated to the Kickstarter, and then they were selling them too, I think, because I know Derek Mears bought a copy, and I know he wasn't in the movie. I got me a copy for press or whatnot, and so I got to it was they were all signed, so it's signed by the people that were there, the cast wise, and I got the movie home and watched it. Actually, I watched it in Atlanta, and then my other friend who had came up to actually shoot the scenes that we were in, I brought it to his house, and we watched it at his house.
So you had another friend that went with you to shoot it?
Yeah.
Where did they shoot it? How far out of Atlanta did they shoot it? An hour, 2 hours? What was the town?
To shoot it, it wasn't in Atlanta downtown proper. Probably about no more than 20 minutes outside of Atlanta. It was the scenes that we shot were in a strip club called Tease, and that was located off Sheridan.
I've never heard of it. I've never been there. Never been there. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, it's actually off a road called Sheridan Road.
But what? No, it's not. No. They did not name that after me because I'm a frequent customer. Don't even think of that. Go ahead.
But yeah, so we filmed all of our scenes there, but I mean, I know they filmed around Georgia. They filmed at some houses and in the woods, and but I mean, probably about 70% took place at Tees.
I would hope so. It's not called wood stripper gardening. Strip club massacre. Better be in a strip club. Jesus Christ. It's not called golfing range.
Well,
driving.
I mean, technically, they still could have did that. I mean, look at Friday the 13th. Jason Takes Manhattan, and he's only in New York for like the last 15 minutes of the movie. He's on a cruise ship for the rest of the time.
You gotta get there somehow. Come on, man.
Yeah, because there's cruise ships that goes from Crystal Lake to New York. And then the cruise ship, I think it sunk. I don't know.
I almost feel like they wanted to make a Friday the 13th on a cruise ship, and then they realized, like the marketing department said, no, this is.
Well, apparently,
what if they get off and he goes, man, 5 more minutes at the end of the night. Great.
Apparently, they really wanted it to be all in New York, but the script they wrote was apparently very ambitious. And when the producers took a look at it, and they're like, "Yeah, you can't do half of that. You can have like the last 15 minutes there in New York."
Yeah, we're like at number 12 right now in the series. What would Jason Takes Manhattan be in a number wise? Was that like number 10, 9?
It was number 8, very close.
Number 8. Wasn't close. No, what? 8 was in the first. 8. Did he go to space? Did he go to space after that?
He did go to space. He went to space in number 10. That was after he went to hell in number 9.
Of course. What are you talking about? Duh.
Because, I mean, I guess after hell, you've pretty much been above and, everything below, so you go to space to get the above.
We can't go any deeper, sir. We're going to send him to space then. And then where? Then back. Back to Crystal Lake. Genius! You're a genius! Jason on the sun. Everyone's dead. He even melted.
And then,
I watched...
Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
Well, no. I was going to move on to some films that I watched while I was in L.A. because I had some downtime. It wasn't like, let me watch some movies, but, it's more to go to bed type of thing. Like, okay, I can watch some things. But we're going to talk about those in a minute. Let's move back to Strip Club Massacre.
Okay.
So you watched it. Did you feel like you got cut down? Did you feel like whatever you shot, like, were you kind of like, wow, I made the film more than I thought I would make it, about what I thought I would make, or, oh, they cut me out a little bit more? Like, how do you feel you fared in terms of getting put down on the cutting room floor there?
Well, kind of a mix. I feel like, they did use quite a bit of footage of the stuff that they shot of me. However, like, one scene that I shot got completely cut out. So, that one's it wasn't apparently the greatest anyway, so that's not because of me, but they just cut it out anyway. But the other 2 scenes that we shot, they did. There's actually one shot where I'm pretty much, my gigantic body's taking up the entire frame as I make it rain.
Right.
But they cut, even that thing kind of makes me laugh because they cut it. So literally I'm only making it rain $1 and then they go to the next shot when I made it rain more. So it kind of makes me look kind of cheap because I'm just slamming down, like $1 and that's it.
So you made it trickle? No, you made it.
I didn't really make it rain. Yeah, kind of like made it trickle.
You did the old raindrop. Oh man, you put the old raindrop at the strip club. Like, hey, is it raining? No, that's just me with a bunch of money in my hand, and I give you $1 regular tip. That's just called giving someone a tip. That's why they call it a tip. Just a tip of your stack. Oh no, I'm just do it. Just a tiny little, there you go, the tip. Van Stone had a stripper song called "Stick the Tip In," and it was kind of a double entendre, as you know what I mean. So it's about the strippers and tipping, but like it's a big DC song. Stick the tip in at the same time. I just wanted one of those stripper anthems that they play at strip clubs, because you go into a strip club, which I've never been in. This is just what I hear. I could be wrong. You shot the movie. You were there. You probably would have tested it. But, this movie probably couldn't afford those strip club songs. But, there's always this sort of like basic 10 songs that will be played at strip clubs where it's like, Candy's coming on the main stage. Now she's left it Dakota. Look at Sunshine. She's coming up, and it's always like a Danzig song or a 9 Inch Nails. Rob Zombie might get a song in there, No Doubt will have a song. Or Gwen Stefani. I don't know which one I'm listening to. I'm sure that it changes, I'm sure, but there's always the songs that are just, they feel strip clubby, Hey, so Why don't you tell me about that scene, just so I know? What is the one that got cut out?
Basically, it was the main character, her, like, first day in the strip club as an actual dancer, and so she does a dance. But they cut the dance out. So, in the scene, how it goes now, instead of her dancing and us all throwing money and everything, it basically now goes to her just finishing up grabbing the money, and she walks off.
Right. That's
So,
fine.
I mean, granted, it might be in the final cut. I don't know, because they did tell me that there was going to be changes made from what I've got to what they they wind up screening.
Okay. Well, it's not called Dance Club Massacre, so if she's not dripping and she's just dancing, it's like, yeah, move on, cut it. Got to trim that a little bit. No pun intended. So that's cool. So where is you don't have to tell me the exact location, because we don't want any crazy stalkers showing up that haven't been invited to such a world-class premiere. But where is this premiere taking place in terms of, if the epicenter was Atlanta, is it like an hour away? I'm just trying to see if I can come.
I am not 100% sure. I know it's at the Plaza Theater in Atlanta. I don't think it's in downtown Atlanta. I'm 100%, almost 100% sure that it's not.
I think I know I know what the Plaza Theater is. That's actually not far. I think that's just like 2 blocks from where that Sheridan is that you were you did the con at. I actually think not that far.
Oh.
I think.
But yeah, it's at the Plaza Theater in Atlanta.
Did you email me that information?
I did.
You did?
And I've actually got the if you're able to make it, I've got the pass with me for you.
Oh my God! Thank goodness. I wouldn't want to get down there. They don't let me in because I don't have the pass.
Right.
Jesus Christ. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, they're like, we know you're Dave Sheridan, but you don't have no pass. You can't go.
We gave that to Creech. Well, so Creech has it. Yeah, he's already in. He's sitting inside already. He has an extra pass. But then on the net, tell him freaking pass can't come back out. I can't get a hold of him. I mean, he's up there. We don't want to bother any of the audience members. We didn't start you, yeah, but I don't want to. I don't want to make people. It's a theater experience, dude. You got to understand. You can't come in. You can't go get that guy. He's eating popcorn right now. He's looking up at the screen, and there's a lot of cool trivia questions going on up there. So, in Home Alone, who played the 2 bad guys? Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. No, you can't. Doesn't matter if you're right. You're not in there. You don't get anything.
No spoilers.
I know. I'm missing it. Yeah. Let me send me the info again if you remember. I don't know what happened. If you did send me the info, I have it in the calendar. I bet it's already in there, but I don't know. It's 50-50. We're about a month away from that. We'll see.
Yeah. There's gonna be that, and then I think they're doing an after party as well. I don't know. I'm not gonna drive back from Atlanta. I know that night. I'm gonna stay in Atlanta at least that night, regardless.
Oh yeah. It's a long drive for you, right? I mean, what is
It'll be about 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
But if the movie doesn't start till 8, I've already seen it. So unless they do a lot of cutting, it's like an hour and 45 minutes. So that'd be putting it close to 10, and then that'd be putting it close to 3 o'clock in the morning getting back, and that's too much.
Nice. Well, yeah, I saw 2 movies. One is a movie I never saw before. Another one is a movie I haven't seen in a long time. And I watched that, and it was The Blob. It was like the 1988 version or 1990 version, maybe 89 version. Kevin Dillon and Shawnee, I don't remember her last name. It was good, though. I liked it a lot. practical effects looked really good. A couple of them were a little janky just because the wider shot ones where they tried to show the Blob being a little bit bigger, but the tighter shots and the smaller effects with the Blob were just really good. I mean, the good thing about some practical effects like that just look so much better than something that's just CG, I liked it because it was 80s and everybody was, that period, it was in that kind of, it was the end of the 80s, but it still was encapsulated in that backlot studio, Spielberg feel, Gremlins, who was that guy? Dante. Was it Joe Dante? I can't remember who did those movies, but it just had that Zemeckis, Spielberg, Dante kind of quality lighting, quality sound. It's a fucking studio, but it's funny in that sense because it's not, it's supposed to be Anytown, USA, but when they come out of the theater and they're trapped in an alley, it's like that typical Chinatown dirty alley with a cat and the old, like, Oscar the Grouch trash cans that are tinted and graffiti, and it's sort of like, what this town's so nice, why would they have all of a sudden, like, they don't bother cleaning up an alley? It's like, no, that's an alley. We can't clean up an alley. When like, all of a sudden that's where it gets seedy. But I did like it. The soundtrack is so weak. So weak. It's like the guy hired his second cousin because he had a Casio keyboard and just, they didn't put any money into the soundtrack part. And they didn't spend any money on music. And it was like 88, 89. It was like awesome time, to put in like mid-80s music because Kevin Dillon's mullet is just insane. He's wearing this like pirate shirt, like this like Adam and the Ant piratey kind of shirt and a leather jacket and stuff. And everybody has like the 80s hair and the 80s outfits. The only thing is you're watching it and it just doesn't have, like, they could go back now and just, since hindsight is 2020, and they could put in like 15 of the greatest 80s songs ever and just rescore that movie. You'd have such a hit. Like you'd have this cult hit that people would watch again and discover. Because as a film, it's pretty good. There's some funny stuff in it. So Bill Moseley's in it actually, and Del Close, the legendary Del Close, plays like the priest. It's pretty good. Have you seen it before?
I can't remember much of it, but I do believe that Jeffrey DeMunn is in that as well.
Yeah.
I think he was a cop in that. He plays, obviously, Dale in The Walking Dead, and when I interviewed him, I actually asked him some questions about working on that. I believe, yeah. I saw it when I was a kid, for sure, but I haven't seen it probably in a good 15, 20 years. And then you said you saw a new movie as well, right?
Yes, I think this is a German movie. It was subtitled. There's not like that much speaking in it. That's good, but it's a cool movie. It's sort of like a psychotic serial killer sort of dude. It's violent. The second half is violent. It's short too, but it's just about a guy getting released from prison, and you hear his voiceover. He really shouldn't be released because he just kills people, and it's called Ankh, or you would say Ankh, but it's Ankh, and it's just really it's pretty cool. I watched it like 4 times in a row. I just kind of kept it on loop and just watched it.
I have not heard of that.
It was like, I think I started watching it at 10, and then I turned it off at 2:30. But I watched it like 3 or 4 times because it just started. It was like on the computer, so it just kind of like started playing again, and I was just like, I'm just gonna keep watching it. And then I wanted to see, and then I got tired. I went to bed, but I told the guys that I was staying with, I go, well, next time I come back, let's spend a week and only have that on the TV. And you see, it's kind of like a Clockwork Orange. It's not quite Clockwork Orange in terms of the tone or story, or that it doesn't have like that witty dialogue like that, but in terms of the sociopathic, just violence and rape and visceral anger got that same kind of feel. It's really sloppy with the killings. You know what I mean? It's really sloppy in the sense of how he does it, and it's sloppy in a real way. Does that make sense? So it's pretty cool to see. I think what sets that film apart in terms of like in the cinephile world is this sort of cinematography that it was doing in the 80s, and the guys that shot it built a lot of camera rigs and stuff like that to get certain shots. So it's experimental in some aspects, but at the same time, and that's what I was watching it for, was just sort of when I shoot my Halloween party 1986, I'm going to study that. I'm going to go break it down more when I go to do that one, but I'm going to sort of like pay homage to certain aspects of camera usage during some of the running scenes and the violent attack scenes and stuff like that. So I want to sort of capture that same kind of feel.
Okay, well, I got to see some new movies myself. I've actually spent, I think by this point in the year last year, I'd only seen one movie in the theaters. I've actually seen 3 so far this year. And I enjoyed all 3 of them.
Yeah, what was?
First off was Resident Evil, the final chapter.
Is it really the final chapter?
You know, I don't think it is. I mean, they say it's, but they leave it open for a sequel, just like every other horror movie franchise. But I thoroughly enjoyed that, and
I almost think like why would any horror, and I guess you could say it's horror, sci-fi horror, or whatever. I don't know, man. Why would you ever put the final chapter on your thing? You know what I mean? Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the story ends where you could see it ending fine, but at the same point, they still leave it open for a sequel anyway. But that was good. Then I saw a Lego Batman movie, which was hilarious. Loved that movie. And then I just saw The Founder, which was an excellent movie.
What is that? What is that film?
That's the movie about Ray Kroc and McDonald's with Michael Keaton.
Okay.
And it was filmed in Georgia, but I mean, it basically, it really I mean, if you don't already, it kind of makes you like, kind of mad. I mean, not necessarily mad, but just kind of look at McDonald's in a different light, because it shows how he basically got the name McDonald's and everything, and what he did to the people who originally had started it, and just the kind of, you know, the bad side of business, and how he screwed these people over. But I mean, it's really good.
I'm gonna check that one out. Was that like some sort of award type of movie that didn't come out in time or something? Because was that not
yeah,
like?
I don't think
I didn't get a screener for that. I know I didn't get a screener.
I mean, it came out, I think, earlier. It's been in limited cities. I got to check it out when I was in Atlanta. It's supposed to open wide on the 24th of February, so next Friday. But it's really good. It's a hair under 2 hours long, but yeah, no, it has Michael Keaton, and then the 2 brothers who originally came up with the McDonald's. One of them's John Carroll Lynch, and the other one's Nick Offerman, it blew me away, because I'm used to him, you know, as Ron Swanson on Parks and Rec and just doing comedy, but you know, for a serious role, yeah, he kicked it out of the park.
Does he have his mustache?
He does not have his mustache, which was another thing that kind of threw me
good.
off.
Yeah, I don't think he could. I think if he has the mustache, it would be hard to watch him in a role other than, you know, Parks and Rec. He's sort of like, that mustache is kind of tied to that a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but yeah, it's fantastic.
I'm going to check that one out. Does the Hamburglar in it?
No. No, this doesn't even cover when the hamburgers and everything it came out.
Nah.
Yeah.
No. Okay. All right. Grimace? No.
Nope. No hamburger. No Grimace. No Mayor McCheese. None of those.
Fry Guy?
Not Fry Guy. Nope.
What? No wonder it's not nominated. Come on, what the hell, man? You know what? That's the kind of movie that you could have had action figures in a Happy Meal at McDonald's to promote it.
Exactly, but I don't think they want to promote this one.
No, of course they don't. That's why you didn't hear it. That's why this movie didn't get nominated. That's why this movie didn't get, it's going to kind of come out and go. And even though you're saying, like, that's fucking awesome, I bet you it is. I'm going to check it out. And then you're going to go, wait, why wasn't this thing, I never got a screener, dude. And I got screeners through 3 different unions. So I got, like, a whole bunch of shit, and I got stuff that was like, what the hell is this piece of crap? So, you don't fucking make a movie about the guy that was the founder of one of the giant blue chip companies that control, the world we live in a weird way. Because, McDonald's has like 75% of the world's cattle or something like that. You know that, right?
Yeah. In the credits, they reveal that as of now, McDonald's feeds 1% of the entire world population.
Right, which is actually more when you consider.
Yeah, how big?
12% of the world population doesn't really eat. So really, McDonald's is responsible for either not feeding or feeding 13% of the world population. They don't want to give you that.
But yeah, and like they tell you everything. I don't want to ruin it, but yeah, no, it's kudos to Michael Keaton because you want to like him and you do like him for the most of it. But at the same time, as he's as Roy Crocker's making these business deals and getting out of contracts and everything, you're like, God, that's such a dick too. It's just fantastic. He doesn't play it like one side. So like the whole time while you want to hate him, at the same point you still don't as well. It's a fantastic movie.
Well, I noticed the lights are being turned off around my house, which means it's time I have to start talking a little softer. So as we fade off into the softer voice of Dave Sheridan, I would like to thank everybody for listening to this podcast. I would like to thank my co-host Creech for joining me on such a special event as episode number 38. Thank you, Creech, and thank you everyone out there for listening. This is Dave Sheridan signing off for the Dave and Creech Show. Until next time, keep your ears on your head.
Shut up and sit down.
Thank you for listening to the Dave and Creech Show. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Dave and CJ. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of Creech Creative Productions or any of its affiliates.